we got CM Punk coming out. Now, this was the highlight of the night for me.
Yeah.
CM Punk with his best promo in a while. He just shredded Braun. And, you know, I think it's probably because Braun mentioned his wife.
Yeah.
He says, you're a cross-eyed Neanderthal Nepo baby, and brains don't run in your family, which was awesome. And he talks about Heyman always having some upstart blue chipper that gets pushed too hard, too fast, and fizzles out, and says, don't speak my wife's name again, or this is going to go from business to personal. That was a great line. And he said, if you do, I'm going to piss on your single-digit IQ brain. It's a great day to be alive on the Dead Jeff Show, WWE edition. I'm Jeff. He's Nick. He's Luke, the maestro. Welcome in to our WWE Weekly Podcast. You guys doing all right tonight?
I'm not
Guess
answering
not.
that question.
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm not answering that
Nick?
question. No, we're not talking about
What's the
that.
matter,
It's
Nick?
wrestling night, baby. Here we go. Let's talk some wrestling.
Orange and blue skies.
Well, that was a lot of dead space. We might have to edit that later. Actually, that was the best point you've ever made on this show.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots to talk about in the wrestling world. We got SmackDown, Saturday night's main event, and Raw. All took place since we last talked with you. So lots of things we discovered. We found out who the mystery man was, which was not really a surprise. We'll get to that later. But, first of all, I want to kind of look at SmackDown last week just very briefly because it's at this point, it's 4 or 5 days old, and everybody knows what's happening. But if you don't know what's happening, SmackDown started off with a recap of the Cody and Drew stuff from the previous week. And then Cody and Aldis are backstage, and Drew won't return Nick's calls. He says he's sending a legal notice of a hostile work environment. So Cody crumples up the notice, heads to the ring, and cuts a promo on Drew and says, hey, get him here. I want him. He's interrupted by Oba Femi, who he's facing at Saturday night's main event. I thought this was a real nice promo from Oba. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was really good, actually. So, I'll be honest and say I haven't seen a lot of him. I've watched some highlights and I've seen some stuff. I don't watch a lot of NXT. But I will say what I got here made me interested in him. Like, he did very well for himself in a pretty short period of time. Certainly I'm not the only person that falls into the boat of not knowing exactly who Oba Femi is or what his high and low points are, but this was great. I thought it was a great introduction to kind of a different audience for him, and definitely makes me want to watch going forward.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I forgot to mention John Cena's hanging out on my microphone. I don't know if you can see him, but
Yeah.
he's right there. So here's an interesting thing about SmackDown, and I think this is the same thing about Raw. The amount of matches has gone down, and I noticed on last week's SmackDown they said that SmackDown's going to go to 3 hours in January.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting, but all these walk-ins and promos and backstage skits, I think they're only having like 4 matches on every 2-hour show, which is kind of strange, you know? So we're going to hit the highlights. You got Black and Vega walking in, Priest and Rhea walking in, Bliss and Flair, just normal walk-ins. And then the first match is Dragunov versus Ciampa. It was really a great match, but Dragunov gets the win. Carmelo Hayes came out to get payback and then, helps Dragunov to his feet, sort of in a, hey, I got your back type thing.
Yeah.
Dragunov, Ciampa is what it is. Hopefully they're done with that now, and Dragunov can move on to something different. Other highlights is Cena's interview clips about being an ambassador, signing a 5-year ambassador deal with the WWE. I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So he's not gone forever, just to the wrestling part. He's done, right? Obviously, they're doing an interview with Javon Evans, and he's interrupted by The Miz, who's also complaining that he doesn't have a match at Saturday night's main event, and this kid does. And then the Uncle Howdy glitch and the Wyatt Six are in the ring with Uncle Howdy, and he cuts a promo on Solo to a very meh crowd.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
response was iffy to Uncle Howdy. I'm a little concerned about this gimmick. I was concerned about it, when Bray Wyatt was doing it a little bit. And he's much better than Bo. Rest in peace,
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
But this did not go over with the crowd.
No. No, it was one of my favorite phrases on the dirt sheets is "and the crowd goes mild." And that's
Yeah.
kind of what it's kind of what this felt like, man. And I like Solo. I actually like the Wyatt Six. So as someone that actually does like those characters, to feel like they really missed the mark here, and it just wasn't giving a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And the bigger problem is I don't know how do you get there? I think at this point this is just dead. I don't know how you resurrect it at this point.
Yeah, there was a lot of hope for this MFT and Wyatt
Mhm.
Six feud, but they're gonna have to get stronger promos from Howdy if this is gonna to make us care about this.
Yeah.
So not a lot of nothing there. And the only thing the Solo really said is, "Hey, we're not coming out there, but next week we're coming for the tag titles." That was pretty much the promo.
Yeah.
Not one of his best promos. And then we got more backstage stuff with Flair and Bliss. Rhea wishes Bliss good luck because she's about to take on Lash Leonard. Again, Alexa Bliss is taking on somebody, and why Charlotte is in the corner. I think that's hilarious. So we got Bliss and Legend, Charlotte and Nia Jax at ringside. And of course, this is a showcase for Lash Legend. All these power moves, really selling how, Lash is a multi-sport star and how much she's putting in the work at the WWE, really just pushing Lash Legend on us. And, Nia and Charlotte, or I keep saying Nia. It's Nia. Nia and Charlotte get into an encounter. Lash takes out Charlotte, then hits Bliss with the Lash extension for the win. And they just really, really hyped Lash and put her over pretty clean against Bliss.
Yeah, I understand what they're trying to do. And we've seen this in recent memory. Early Roman Reigns, Austin Theory. Those are the two that immediately pop to mind. In the women's division, I think for a period of time, Charlotte Flair, though established, was getting pushed in ways that the crowd was obviously not happy with. I think what they've tried to do is learn from the mistake of having Lash be a baby face that's getting pushed, super hard. So at least they're trying to give us that. I think the problem that I kind of thought about as this match was going on is, although Nia is certainly the uber heel of the women's division, Lash isn't coming off quite that heelish. It's just the rub that she's got with Nia. Other than that, she's so athletic and so focused on showcasing that athleticism that some of those traditional heelish things that you would see in a match is being totally dependent upon Nia to kind of get that point across. And I don't know if that's working. So I think that's where we kind of going to get into this space of Lash is just getting pushed on us. So it's fine. I just, again, I prefer the tag stuff, and I don't know how much longer you can do the singles with, ringside muscle and interference. I mean, this is like the 6th time in 2 or 3 weeks or something.
Well, and Nia herself has been portrayed as the bully and the muscle, but now you have Lash who's coming in and getting the powerhouse treatment.
Mhm.
So I don't even know if, obviously Lash is looking good here. Like you said, Nia comes off a little bit weak in what's happening here to me. So it's just a matter of time before, Lash turns on Nia, right?
Yeah.
Or Nia turns on Lash and they move Lash to babyface, I think. But do you like what you see from Lash so far?
Yeah, I think, again, it's good. I think the character is it lacks a little bit of dimension right now, which I think is probably fine. I think they're just trying to get her some ring exposure while rubbing shoulders with essentially the top talent, the main event, talent of the women's division for the last, 10 years. So I don't have a problem with it. Again, I think it just lacks a little depth. But I don't, certainly there have been
We
worse.
don't care about it yet, right? It's just nothing
No.
for us to really care about it. It's kind of like, She brought somebody in. Nia got somebody new to be her friend, and so we'll see where that goes. After that, it's a backstage interview with Black and Vega about their match later tonight. Then they announced SmackDown's moving to 3 hours in January. Yep. How's that grab you, Nick?
Well, Luke? with the way that they're focusing on the backstage stuff, and when they do have a match, they're trying to give more time and have higher quality matches. Just I don't know. I've never been a fan of the 3-hour shows. I think 2 hours is way better. It keeps it close together, it keeps it running clean. So we'll see what happens. But I personally am not a fan of 3-hour shows by any stretch.
Well, the only reason I would be in favor of it is because they have so much talent, and so many stories to be told that they can't get them told in 2 hours. And maybe that's why we're getting some of these, so many of these things happening over and over again, is because they're trying to incorporate as many people as possible. So it may actually help the storylines go into 3 hours. We'll see. And it's kind of funny because Netflix really doesn't have a time limit, but they rarely go 3 hours on Netflix. It's usually 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it'll be interesting to see what they do if it opens up some of the storylines a little bit and they can tell more stories. We get our third match of the night next with Miz versus Javon Evans. And Javon Evans, we're seeing a lot of him on TV, and he's great. Love him. He's bouncy. Luke, you know what that means? He comes to the ring, he's bouncy. I can't do it, but it's a nice, fast-paced match. It showcases Evans a lot. I would say this: it's kind of nice to see Miz wrestling. He's just so underutilized and underrated. Miz gets in the tribute to Cena with the 5-knuckle shuffle as the crowd cheers and chants, and they say it in unison. You can't see me. He tries to go for the AA, but Evans counters. Commentators are really hyping up Miz not having any wins in 2025, which was hilarious. And Evans then hits the OG cutter off the top rope for the win. And Evans goes over clean on the Miz, which has been kind of his role in 2025, putting people over. So here we go. We got another backstage segment where Rhea is stretching, and then Nia and Lash walk up, and they tell her things have changed around here, and we're the ones to beat for the tag titles. Rhea barks back. They leave. Then Priest shows up and hypes up Rhea for their match later, and then he walks away. And then Jade Cargill walks up, and she looks really cool in the black leather outfit. And then all they do is stare down and then stare down each other, and then Cargill walks away. So a lot of stuff happening in a very short backstage segment. Then we go backstage again, where Mishan is doing a promo, and she's interrupted by attacking Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill just destroys her backstage. And they're really leaning into the heel tendencies for Cargill here. She beats the heck out of Mishan and then goes to the ring and cuts a promo on Mishan. And she's in the all black leather. It's a cool look. And then here comes Mishan, right? She's got a kendo stick. And she comes out and starts wailing on Cargill. But Cargill gets the upper hand, choke slams her, and walks out. There's no match here. It's just a bunch of shenanigans to kind of prove how awesome and bad that Cargill is.
Yeah, I think, again, it lacks depth. I don't know why I'm supposed to care other than, they're on the screen at the same time. There's a little bit of a pattern being kind of is emerging over the last couple of weeks. I want so badly to be invested in this stuff because it's, for me, it's the soap opera of it. As much as I love the matches and I love all of it together, it's the soap opera that really pulls you in. And I so badly want that. And I feel like we're not getting it. Now, that's not to say it can't, long-term storytelling's got to start somewhere. So hopefully that's what's happening. Again, we know we're in that weird transition space before, between, basically the end of the year and the Rumble. So it could just be weird timing. And I'm going to give benefit of the doubt here, but yeah, it lacks depth. I do think Jade Cargill looks like $1 million, man. She is awesome, awesome physique.
Think that's what they're doing here. This is all this is about. Let's make Jade Cargill look badass.
Yep.
And awesome
Well,
because
you can't say that.
oh yeah, bad A, bad butt. I don't know, that even sounds weird. But the point I'm trying to make is that they're really kind of pushing her to these heel tendencies,
Yeah.
and I get that, and now I'm okay with that with this. But we really need some depth to these storylines because all these backstage skits and all these things that are happening, they're bouncing from one to the other. You got Rhea Ripley and Io Sky over here with the Kabuki Warriors, and you got Rhea with Priest, then you got, Alexa Bliss and Flair. It's just all these backstage things, but the stories aren't progressing the way they should. And again, it's December, and Royal Rumble is around the corner, so they need to get it in gear a little bit. But I like Cargill here. You built her up before as a superhero. Now she's the bad chick,
Yep.
Can I say chick? Is that politically incorrect or correct?
Are you gonna start wearing black leather every episode, Dad?
Dude, I might if it could get me Jade Cargill, I might do that. Don't tell your mother, Luke. All right.
I won't. I won't. I don't think she would care anyway.
Speaking of black leather and black clothing, it seems like every wrestler was wearing black tonight.
Very popular.
Not tonight, but on SmackDown and on Raw the other night.
Yeah.
Just black is used to be let's wear different colors and stand out, but now everyone's just wearing black.
Yeah.
And speaking of black and Vega take on Priest and Ripley in the main event, and everyone's in black.
Yeah.
But I will say this: Zelina Vega's new look, I like it.
Yeah.
Daddy like it. I like it. She's nice. She's one of my favorites. I really like the storyline with her in black. Gives her something. But Priest and Ripley, I'm not a fan of them together. I don't know how you feel about it. The Terror Twins and all that stuff. So a few years ago with Judgment Day. But they do perform well together. I just don't like it. Here's another thing about this match. This match starts 12 minutes before the show ends.
Yeah.
Right? And 3 minutes into the match, they go to a commercial. It's side by side. So you're like, they don't really care about wrestling at this point, it seems like. But, we just had, we'll talk about in a minute, Saturday Night's Main Event, where they make this huge point at the end of that show about pro wrestling and sports entertainment. And we'll get to that in a minute. But there's not a big concentration on wrestling, and don't come at me. I know that's never really been WWE's thing, but we need to get a little bit more focused on the wrestling because usually if they're not focused on the wrestling, we've got good storytelling. We don't have that right now. We do not get enough wrestling, and there's not good storytelling, so that's a double whammy. Couple things that I really liked here was a double moonsault from different corners by Black and Vega. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Although Vega did botch a cartwheel move a couple times. Her and Rhea couldn't get synced up on that. And then it also in this match, it looked like Rhea was struggling to lift Vega at one spot, which I'm not sure what's going on there. I know Rhea's slimmed down. She's not as jacked, but but she's trying to lift her up. I think over her head or something, and she drops her here. So I did pick up on that. Black comes in and stares down Rhea, which is weird, right? And then he backs away, and then Rhea decides to headbutt him anyway, lunging headbutt. And then they hit, her and Priest hit double Razor's Edge for the Terror Twins. Rhea hits the Riptide and pins Vega for the 1, 2, 3, and SmackDown is over. Again, 4 matches, I think, and one that, and a 5th match that really wasn't a match.
Yeah.
So,
and one with the commercial.
Well, they had several with commercials, but the main event starting 12 minutes before the show ends and a commercial 3 minutes into it, it's kind of weird to me, man. But overall, SmackDown was kind of which has been the way it's been lately. I do like Drew and Cody. I like that feud. I want to see more of that. And I do like, Vega and Black together. But we'll see where these storylines go. They got to pick up the pace here. They got to start telling more stories, make us care more. Anything you want to say about SmackDown? Your cat seems to want to say something. I don't think
the cat does
Mike's
wanna.
picking that up, but the cat, I don't think they I don't think they like Rhea Ripley.
The cat says Rhea Ripley needs to get back with Dirty Dom.
Hey, that's true. Yeah,
'Cause
we need some more of that.
They were the best together.
Dirty Dom and Rhea. Yeah, but I think she's just moved on, right? Now he's got Liv and Roxanne.
She's not moved on. Not from that awesome mustache. What a mullet. It's crazy.
Well, you're a Dom starter kit. Look at you. All you have to do is shave that beard. You got the long hair and the mustache.
I was thinking that whenever our previous episode, when I was wearing the beanie, I was like, wait, I kind of am like copying Dom's style.
Cosplaying Dom.
That's why I stopped just having the mustache and I got to grow the beard.
Well, too bad I wasn't a deadbeat dad to you. I should have been a deadbeat dad so you could be more like Dom.
You're not my dad.
All right. So, anything else to say on SmackDown before we move to Saturday night's main event?
Nah, let's get to the good stuff.
Well, I don't know how much good stuff was on Saturday night's main event. Honestly, I want to say that it started well. I loved Triple H's voiceover. I thought that was awesome. Right. Obviously, we're geared up for all the Cena tributes, and we're anxious to see who's in the house and who's going to celebrate him.
Yep.
And we'll find that out later, and we'll also find out who wasn't there, which is the biggest disappointment, right?
Mhm.
But the first match on Saturday night's main event, again, there's only 4 matches, right? And it's a not a PLE, but it's a special event. Okay. So Triple H's voiceover was awesome. Then we got Oba Femi versus Cody, and I really liked where this match was going. I liked the contrast of styles. I liked the power of Oba Femi. He's got charisma. I like his little dance he does coming into the ring. It's more of a walk and a strut. But then here comes Drew McIntyre, who interferes in the match, costing Oba the match. And then Oba and Drew have a standoff, which is very interesting.
Yep.
And then Oba and Cody respect each other, raise each other's arms. And hey, it's the new face getting, a little bit of a rub from Cody, but Drew coming in to interfere. But I liked where it was going until we got the interference.
Yeah, I understand why you would do this. I don't have a problem with it, especially, given that, Cody and Drew are definitely, just from a marquee standpoint, they're kind of the best thing that you've got going at the moment. So I get it. I understand it. I kind of hate it for Oba. I think even going, kind of putting up the good fight and losing at the end, even losing clean, would have done a lot more for him here than even the pseudo rub he gets from standing up to Drew. But ultimately, I actually didn't have a problem with this. I understand why. Yeah. And it pushes forward Cody and Drew's story really well. So this was good. I didn't have a problem with this.
The funniness of Drew claiming a hostile work environment at a wrestling show is hilarious. And then he comes in and beats up Cody.
Yeah.
So it's very funny, and I love what Drew McIntyre is doing. And we need more Drew McIntyre, and we need more of this feud with Cody. Finally, we've got something since Roman Reigns that can keep our interest with Cody, I think. And I think Cody, Drew is. They could be planting the seeds where Drew's trying to break Cody and not be that white meat baby face. He's getting into that dark side a little bit, and we'll see where that goes, where they take that. The next match is another newcomer versus a legend, Bayley versus Saul Ruka, and I really love Ruka. I really love her. She's awesome. Ruka proved she belonged in this match. It was a heck of a match, honestly. Couple impressive things I saw was that cartwheel on the top rope into the DDT. I thought that was really awesome.
Yep.
Ruka hits the Soul Snatcher and goes for the pin, but Bayley reverses it. Then Ruka reverses it back for a pin and a clean win over Bayley, which is again, something that we saw with Lash Legend and Bliss on SmackDown. Now we got a clean win here for Sol Ruka. And this is what I'm talking about. All this talent. We got to find stories to tell, and NXT is not big enough for Saul Ruka and Oba Femi and these Lash Legend and all these people that are ready to come up. We've got so much talent and so little storytelling at this point.
Yeah, it's spot on a point there. And I think the idea that Saul is going to be, a key cog in this machine very quickly because she did extremely well for herself. Like Oba, I hadn't seen a lot of her. I'd seen some highlights on YouTube, and she
Yeah.
had me hooked in about 2 minutes, man. I was all in. Great
I'm gonna tell
look.
Kyle. You're peeping Sol Ruka.
Oh,
Sol
she
Ruka
was
is
yeah, she was definitely jumping on the bandwagon with me. It was
well, that's
it
good.
was yeah. So we were, she was watching the show with me, and she said, "Who is that?" And I said, "I'm watching for the first time too. I have no idea." So man, I thought she did
Yeah, I'm sure
phenomenally.
you said that, Nick. I'm sure you said that.
You probably have Sol Ruka as your background on your phone now.
On the
Yeah.
phone, yeah. No, it's all over my
You
office.
don't know who that is? That's Sol Ruka.
Yeah, man, I thought she did great. I thought, this was a great highlight. And now the follow up is the key, right? It happens so often.
Yeah.
Great showing for herself.
That's
Really,
right.
really did a phenomenal job. Let's see what we do now, because man, they got to strike while the iron's hot here.
Yeah, I agree. And the cool thing is, after these matches, all these guys are paying tribute to Cena. Ruka and Bailey pay tribute to Cena together in
Yep.
the ring. And then we get a really cool video of the superstars paying tribute to Cena. I thought it was really cool. And the coolest part of this video, probably I'm in a, focus group of one here, was Michael P.S. Hayes in the video. He's doing something goofy, and then it cuts to somebody else, and it cuts back to Hayes, who then does something serious. But
Yeah.
Michael P.S. Hayes from Bad Street, USA, baby. The Fabulous Freebirds and the Von Erichs represented by Michael Hayes in this video. I thought that was a good callback, and I know that Hayes helped Cena a lot as a producer, and it was nice to see Michael Hayes in this video.
Yeah, I think the
You know
the
who Michael
tributes
Hayes
on
is, right?
yeah.
I'm just
Yes,
making
I know
sure,
who
Nick.
the Fabulous
All right.
Freebirds. Yeah, I know who Michael P.S. Hayes is.
I wore the T-shirt last episode, so you should know who he is.
Yeah. I think the tributes are all great, right? I think that at the end of these matches, regardless of what happened in the match, for the, by and large, they're kind of breaking kayfabe just a little bit to stand shoulder to shoulder and
Yeah.
give the tribute as it should be, right? It is 100% necessary and it fits. So really, really enjoyed it. All the way from and it carried out throughout. I also love the consistency there from the voiceover at the beginning all the way through the main event.
Well, let's talk about the presentation a little bit. So they went away from the retro Saturday night's main event. This was a little different, sort of black and goldish looking, right? Sort of classic, sort of elegant. What did you think about that? They also had Stephanie and Testator at a table somewhere talking. What did you think about the presentation overall on Saturday night's main event?
So overall presentation I like. I'm also, maybe I'm in the minority here, but I don't care for the retro look. I don't care for the Jesse the Body Ventura. Like that's all I can think of when I see the old, the old retro. I just hear his voice. Like that's what it takes me back to. I also didn't necessarily love Stephanie and Testator up there. Felt a little forced at times, definitely from Steph. Which is
no
weird.
Chemistry with those two.
Yeah, it's weird that she wouldn't have a little, for her charisma has always been great. I've never had that complaint about Stephanie McMahon. Just felt weird when they would cut to them. It felt forced. So overall presentation is, I think, better. I like this a lot better. But the Stephanie and Testator stuff felt off.
Yeah, I do like the retro stuff. I can do without Jesse the Body, but I like the retro feel because again, wrestling dials into the nostalgia anyway for me, and it brings back a lot of good memories. So I really liked the retro feel, but I can understand if they only want to do that 1 or 2 times a year to make it more special and more meaningful. But yeah, the chemistry with Testator and Stephanie was a little off. And maybe Stephanie's been away a little too long. She has the podcast, so you think she'd be, full of energy and talking. And I didn't mind her energy. It's just the chemistry, the lack of chemistry with her and Testator. And usually Testator is great. So I usually like him, but not in this situation. So we get Styles and Dragon Lee versus Evans and Slater. Slater's from TNA, of course, Evans from NXT. Again, Evans on TV, right? And this was a high-energy, fast-paced match that really showcased these kids, Slater and Evans. And Styles kept up with him, and Lee is great. at this,
Mm-hmm.
luchador influenced style. I really was impressed by this showing. I'm really hadn't seen much of Slater, and of course they had Slater take the pinfall, right? Styles hits the
Mm-hmm.
Styles Clash on Slater for the win. I think that's old TNA and current TNA. That was kind of cool. And then all four of these guys raise their hands, and then they salute Cena after the match. What'd you think of this match?
Yeah, exactly what you said. I think the kids did again, just like Solruka earlier, did a great job for themselves. The athleticism just flies off the screen at a time when the WWE is uber athletic. These guys were even on. I felt the difference. There's so much athleticism in the ring at the moment, and I felt like this was a notch above that. Really, really fast pace. I really love the crispiness here. Felt so good.
Crispy.
And and I do think that I was a little pleasantly surprised that AJ and Dragon Lee were just, I mean, they were really kind of step for step with them. They enhanced the kids. They made them look great. I think the spots that they kind of were giving of themselves to both Slater and Evans was, phenomenal. No pun intended. And I think it's exactly what you would want to see. And the about halfway through the match, I said, well, clearly, AJ has to pin Slater here. That would be, sometimes in losses, especially in this space, man, it can do something for both guys. And I think Slater taking a pin from AJ, especially getting so close to them moving networks and all that stuff going on at TNA, I think really, really good stuff all the way around here.
Yeah. How old is AJ Styles? Maestro, can you look that up real quick? I mean, I know he's up there. They're talking about his retirement tour coming up next year or the year after.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting up there, and it was very impressive to see him with these young whippersnappers and holding his own. Always loved AJ Styles. I wish he would have got another title run before he winded it down, but he didn't.
He's 48.
He's 48.
48.
48. AJ Styles. And Evans is what, 19? 20?
I think he's 20.
Devon
Yeah,
Evans?
maybe no way he's more than 21.
I'm only 4 years older than AJ Styles.
So
yeah, look
why do I look 20 years older?
He's 21.
Yeah,
so Javon Evans is 21 and AJ's 48.
Almost
That's
be his
amazing.
Grandson, right? 20. It's not quite there, but it's close.
Not grandson.
No,
That's
like,
some weird family you got if you got a grandson.
Yeah, what? I'm 26.
Well, I'm just...
I don't like the fact that I look 20 years older than AJ Styles, and he's only 4 years younger than me.
Now, come on, be fair. It's like 15 years young. It's like 15 years older. Let's be fair.
You could have been in the CWF.
What are you talking about? The CWF, yeah, the Christian Wrestling Federation. That's where we met AJ Styles. Yeah.
Get in shape and drop.
I take one bump and I die. Probably, I break every rib in my body just hitting the mat. I learned how to take a bump at the CWF. Shout out to Rob Vaughn and the CWF crew and Philip Bishop. But the thing was that they taught me how to take a back bump, and I couldn't breathe. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'll just run the ropes. Running the ropes was cool, but taking bumps, I'm out. So
I'll just be the ring announcer.
I could put the claw on somebody, I mean, that's what I could do. I could put the claw. Did it on you your whole childhood, Luke. So I'm a master of the iron claw.
That's probably why I'm so dumb.
Contrary. That's not why you're dumb. But you're not dumb, buddy. You're just a slow processor.
Because I'm your son. That's why. That's
well, you gotta talk to your mother about that one. Hey, anyway, so we get this weird interaction with Stephanie and Testator, where that she's clearly queuing up Miz to interrupt, but she holds it out and pauses so long. It's like it was obvious, and Miz interrupts.
Yeah.
He says he should have been in the final match with Cena. R-Truth comes out dressed as Ron Cena, which was really cool. And he talked about Miz manipulating Aldis's balls.
Yeah.
Playing with Aldis's balls, I think was the reference he did. And he took the opportunity away from somebody. And he goes, and R-Truth said, I have the ball right here. And Miz says, give me that. and he grabs it and he looks at who the name was, and it says Joe Hendry. And Miz says Joe Hendry, and what do you think happens? He appears, right? And we believe in Joe Hendry around here, right? And there's Joe Hendry. His music plays. The crowd's loving it. And Miz cuts off the music. Hendry and Miz get into a scuffle. Hendry takes care of Miz, and then Hendry and Truth do a Hendry's turnaround move, hit the double 5-knuckle shuffle, tribute to Cena again. And Hendry hits his standing ovation on Miz, and Truth mockingly counts the 1, 2, 3. Not a real match, but a very entertaining segment here, I thought. One of the highlights of the night for me.
Yeah, anything that R-Truth, Ron Cena is involved in will never be something I turn away from, and it's going to be very hard for me not to like it, even if it. And he does a masterful job of walking that corny, but like slapstick funny. Like he just does that so incredibly well. But even if he ventures into the slapstick or the corny from that, it's still, he's got so much equity built up in just everything he does. This was perfect. I love that this happened. I would be hard pressed to think that this isn't Cena saying, hey, we got to do something to get these two out there to some degree, given their relationship and just everything over the years. But
Miz
I
and
really
Truth.
loved it. Yeah. And then Hendry's on the way in, right? Like he'll at some point be on the roster full time. That's been broken now on for a couple of weeks, I guess. So the stuff with Orton at WrestleMania, you got this here on John Cena night. Clearly some pretty big plans for Joe Hendry as he comes in and starts to make his name for himself in the WWE.
Yeah, and after this segment, another Cena video tribute is played. With this one has Lesnar and Reigns, the one that was making its rounds on social media.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see Randy Orton in any of these tribute videos. Did you see him in those?
No.
Isn't that strange? What are they doing here with Randy Orton? Right?
It would be strange if not for the fact that he was the other mystery guy, but
Well,
we'll see.
Hold on a second. We'll get to that in a minute, okay?
That's what I was thinking too.
And we'll get to that in a minute. That's Raw, guys. Let's finish. Don't
well, no, I'm saying
John Cena
as it was happening, the absence was noticeable, and that's the only explanation for it. Like without the benefit of hindsight, that's literally what I was thinking as it was happening.
Well, the next match is Gunther versus John Cena, and there were a lot of legends at ringside, but I think the WWE and these superstars missed a moment here. Whether you hate John Cena, love John Cena, you can't deny what he did for this business. He built this house for those guys, carry the torch, so that they would have something to carry on, right? And Roman Reigns should have been there. Let's be honest. He should have been there. Brock Lesnar should have been there. Randy Orton should have been there. Dave Batista should have been there. They all came up together, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't like the fact that they weren't there. Whether they like John Cena, don't like John Cena, they should be there to pay their respects. And I didn't see Batista in any of the videos. And it would have been nice to have Batista, Reigns, Lesnar, and Orton there. What say you, Nick?
Yeah, I think even a step further, and I know Reigns probably doesn't fit. Maybe he does. You'll have to educate me because I'm having a little bit of a brain fog. But I think a package of the OVW. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think the
Reigns
OVW package. Yeah. Okay, so the OVW package into the current them sitting ringside feels like a too obvious thing to miss on. Like being able to pull video from those guys 25 years ago and what they look like. And I've seen the documentaries over and over and over again about Ohio Valley Wrestling and where all that, the prototype and all those guys coming up. It certainly feels like a really, really big miss to not have that sort of just a quick 30-second OVW cut into those guys sitting together ringside.
Yeah, and all the people, and for all the things that have happened this year, The Rock should have been there too. I'm just telling you.
Yep.
He sent in a really cool video and posted it on his social media. But he screwed up the John Cena heel turn run, the run, not the turn itself. The turn itself was awesome, but the run was ridiculous. And we're supposed to forget about The Rock and Travis Scott. What a ridiculous moment that was. Travis Scott with Cody and all that stuff. But it would have been nice for The Rock to be there. But again, I would have really wanted the OVW guys that came in together there in support of Cena. Now look, I know Cena didn't have a great reputation. He had his wall up a lot with these guys, didn't develop deep friendships with them. I get that, but just pay your respects. And they did hold up the sign in the video. Lesnar did, Reigns did. So I'm not totally, throwing them under the bus here, but it would have been nice to see them there. And that's how I feel about that. But what we did see is we had Trish Stratus there. We had Eve Torres, I believe. Is that her name? Eve, something like that?
Yes.
Eve Torres.
RVD was there, which the crowd popped and did this RVD with him. Kurt Angle, which is one of my goats. It was good to see Kurt Angle. That's RVD. You're a step behind there, son.
I know. Remember, I'm dumb.
No, slow processing. What are you, Eugene, all of a sudden? You kind of look like Eugene.
Oh, what a great callback. I love Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene was awesome.
Eugene is my goat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eugene's pretty good.
Kurt Angle, Mark Henry was there, Michelle McCool, which I'm tired of seeing Michelle McCool everywhere. I think, this might be a hot sports opinion, but she's on The Undertaker's podcast now, and I think that's kind of ruined that podcast. I liked it before, and then she comes on there. She's just low energy. No disrespect. It's just not my preference. But hey, I get it. You want to do something with your wife, and they have a great relationship, and I'm sure she's awesome, but she's just not, my favorite.
Doesn't fit.
I liked her better when she was wrestling, but anyway. Hey, and then Elias was in there. Did you see Elias?
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool. He just popped through a little bit, and then we had Kevin Owens, Booker T, and Sami Zayn. I may have left out one or two, but that was awesome to see. And he went out, Cena went out and dapped them up and hugged them for being there. And one other thing about Cena's interest in this match, it was cool they had all the shirts for the final, last time is now. They showed him in all the shirts and had all these iterations of Cena flashing or running through the video board, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Great insight there, Nick. Appreciate that. Mm-hmm. What are you, Billy Bob Thornton? What are you,
I thought
Sling Blade? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good.
I thought you were just running through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like John Cena.
Well, the problem is I really don't, so I'm trying to be respectful here, but You
don't like John Cena. That's fine. Okay? But you got to give him his respect.
That's why Nick wasn't there to show his respects, just like Roman Reigns. And
yeah, that's right.
Also, loyalty and respect, Nick. Those three words you don't know nothing about. Okay?
Yeah.
John Cena fought for our country.
You can't see him.
John Cena fought for our country.
No, that was fake. That was a movie.
No.
Oh, the Marine.
All right. Anyway. Yeah. So, overall, this match was okay. Cena was calling the match loudly. You could see and he almost hear what he was telling Gunther to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was built up as pro wrestling versus sports entertainment, and so it was a good match. Not great. Not a world beater. Several sleepers and break attempts, and then sleepers and break attempts, and at the end, there's an awkward little smirk and smile as Cena taps out after trying to break it 3 times or something like that. And Michael Cole's line is, "Tonight, professional wrestling destroyed sports entertainment." I thought that was a good line. They're really building up Gunther here, which is Triple H's favorite, right? Fans are booing this out of the building. Everyone is hating the fact that John Cena gave up, right? But they told us how this was going to end. They've been 100%. Giving us those hints how this was going to end. So, what did you think of the match? What did you think of the ending?
Yeah, I thought the match was good. There was a couple, WWE normally gets the camera work right. a lot. This is something that I've heard like Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff and other people talk about in the past, of like these other wrestling companies, their camera crews and their ring crews are, production people, they're TV people, not wrestling people. And the WWE has wrestling people. But I feel like in the early parts of this match, there were some misses. When Cena takes the camera from Stu and is trying to give him that,
Big miss there.
they they go to the crowd. It didn't, that I really wanted to see that. I thought that would have been really cool. Hopefully they'll push that at some point. Maybe it was to hide it for the documentary or something coming out. Certainly. So there was a miss there. There was another miss early in the match where, like you said, and I'm gonna guess that it was a miss and not that it was intentional, but some of the spots that Cena were calling, I mean, they were tied in on his face, and you can clearly see, So again, I mean, it's a little atypical for WWE to have those kind of presentation misses. But the actual match itself was fine. I think the problem is him and AJ just gave us something in the ring that was so incredibly good.
Yeah.
It was always going to be hard for this to match that. I am the contrary of people that I've seen for the most part. I thought the smirk at the end, like the little, I'm accepting my fate, that's over, I'm ready to give up, in essence. I thought it was great storytelling. I really enjoyed it. The crowd was, I almost wanted to mute it. I didn't want to miss Michael Cole's. The only reason I didn't mute it was because of Michael Cole. I like Wade Barrett, but had it been like Tessitour Barrett, I would have muted this, because the crowd was pissed, was really, really upsetting me.
And let me just tell you this: Michael Cole is the greatest, man, and he had to be on that call because of his relationship with John Cena.
Yeah,
there was no question about that. But he had some great lines. He talked about, like I said, professional wrestling destroying sports entertainment. He talks about it's been 20 years since Cena last tapped out. He called Gunther a certified career killer because he took out Goldberg. Now he's taken out Cena. Just really, he was shocked. He was stunned about Cena giving up.
A career killer because he took out Goldberg and John Cena.
Yeah, I mean,
250 something.
Kind of Randy Orton's gimmick is the legend killer. So now Gunther's infringing upon that. Maybe Orton will come back and have something to say about that, or maybe Gunther will take out Randy Orton, the legend killer. Who knows? But I agree with you. Match was okay. Ending, I was fine with. I could see where all the kids around the world and all the ones that grew up with John Cena with the never give up might be going like, now, wait a minute. It's kind of like the Hulk Hogan, say your prayers, eat your vitamins thing.
Right.
So I could see where they might be disappointed. But they told us how it was going to end. I'm okay with it. Could they have just had him pass out and show that he's to the end, he's never going to give up? That could have been cool as well. He still goes out losing. Or they could have just had him pin him, right, for a clean win. So out of all of those options, I guess it's okay, right?
Don't you think the best? But
I like the smirk though.
from I hear you. I think the counter would be from Cena's perspective, yes, but certainly the perspective that Cena would have kept, and that of course WWE would want, is what of these scenarios is best for Gunther, and that the only one that exists.
I don't.
Do you
I
not
don't think it matters? No, I don't, because either way, Gunther looked like $1 million in that match already. And then the build up to this, I mean, it was kind of a foregone conclusion he was going to win that tournament. We all kind of knew that already. So, but and we'll get to Raw in a second. But the way he came out on Raw and really played that up was great. But I think that I don't think it would have hurt this story at all had he just pinned Cena. I know he wanted to break his will and make him give up and quit, but he was retiring anyway. We already knew he was quitting, so that's the part that gets lost in that, is he was already quitting. So we didn't have to make him tap. In my mind, it's kind of redundant. I think getting a clean pin would, but John Cena has been pinned cleanly a lot over the last 5 years.
A lot.
So I get it. They wanted to make a statement here. Making him pass out would have probably been the best option, I think, for me, because it still makes Gunther look like I took John Cena to the point of exhaustion, and his body gave out, and that could have been cool, but I was okay
So
with it.
open-ended.
Didn't
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, it's a little
What's that?
open-ended to have him pass out, right? Because then he never gave up, and I hear you. I
But
think
his body
this was
gave out.
Yeah. To me, this was perfect. But I'm also, like I said before, I think regardless of what the fans were saying, I really do think this was 95% on Cena. I have a hard time believing that
Oh, I'm sure.
anyone gave it to Cena. I'm sure this was exactly what he wanted to do and how he wanted to go out.
Well, the strangest thing about John Cena is, he's been like an emotionless robot, like, um, for the most part of his WWE career. And if you ever watched that Diva show, whatever that show was, he came
Total
across
Bellas.
kind of jerky and kind of just emotionless sometimes, right? And he gets mad about the dumbest things, and so maybe he is a jerk in real life. I don't know, but I don't think so. With all these kids that he helps, maybe it's just to other adults that he's rude. I'm
Yeah.
not dissing John Cena, but I think, let this be a lesson to you out there. If you don't value relationships along the journey, then when it's times like this, maybe people aren't, they're going to give you respect and acknowledge what you've done, but they're not really tight with you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so there was a lack of emotion in this that I noticed the whole way, and so after the match, Gunther makes him tap out. The crowd is booing, telling Triple H he effed up, right? They bring all the superstars out. Punk and Rhodes gets in the ring, gives Cena their titles, similar to, I think, what he did for Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Cena did for Hulk Hogan back in the day, and so they said they were paying it forward. He didn't want to. They forced him to. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, okay, I'll do it. Then he poses with them. Triple H steps up on the apron, getting booed mercifully. I mean, he just was, and he was embracing it as they hugged. But superstars and family were surrounding the ring. A lot of them were in tears. I mean, a lot of them grew up with John Cena. He was their hero. They know what he did for the business. But Cena didn't seem emotional at all. Honestly,
No.
it's almost like he had conditioned himself not to be emotional. But Cena hugs Triple H. Crowd's relentless against Triple H, and then he points up to the video board, and they play this really awesome video tribute to Cena, going back to him as a kid and all that stuff. And I thought that was going to get him, but it didn't. He didn't really get emotional about that. What do you think about the emotionless of Mr. John Cena?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you said. I think he had resigned himself to what this was going to be. I think he is, to me, more than it's emotionless, I kind of was reading it as he's just totally at peace with what this is. That was kind of that was the overwhelming sense that I got from this. And it kind of oddly gave me, anytime you see your favorites and your Hall of Famers and the all-timers and the people that help pave the way, right? I think watching them have to start to slow down and not have it the same way, it can be tough. For me, in this instance, it was almost like, all right, I mean, he seems very comfortable with where this is, and with the decision he made, and that I found that to be kind of just, there's something reassuring in it. There was something kind of nice about it. I think a little emotion, just in terms of maybe getting a little teary or a little choked up, might have added just a little bit to that. But yeah, I mean, I think I like this a lot. I will say, and not to get off of Cena, but I'm a huge Triple H fan, huge Triple H mark, and that was really, really, I'm glad that Triple H and Cena had a laugh about it. I thought that was really cool. I'm hard pressed to think that H isn't going to turn this into something a la Vince and the screw job. And if you want me to go there, then I'll go there. Seems like the crowd is turning on him, and have been for quite some time.
Well, I think it's mainly because of his storytelling right now.
I was going to say,
they're not happy with the storylines. It's like Vince McMahon's all of a sudden took the book back over. That's what some people are saying. And what happened to Triple H's run he was on, where he couldn't do anything wrong? He's, this year has been a real struggle for him.
Yeah, and I think that's probably fair. I think there's something in that. I wouldn't debate it feverishly that it's been, even remotely good, but he lost the favor that he gained really, really quickly. So just a quick side note, I'm hopeful that he does something with that. But back to Cena, I do think the only thing that I didn't like in all of this that really bugged me is I wish that when he took his shoes off and he left everything in the center of the ring, that he would have stayed at the top of the ramp or would have done something other than just walk to the back with all of them left stood around the ring. I think that felt something was wrong with that. I don't know why. It just felt weird that he just left. But
well, he did
other
say
than that, it
something
was
to the
great.
camera before he left, right? So he
Yeah.
looked into the camera and says, "It's been a pleasure serving you all these years," which was really nice sentiment, but it was awkward. So he takes off his wristbands, he takes off his shoes. There's somebody in the crowd yells, "Take off the jorts!" Like they wanted him to
Yeah.
take off the jorts and leave him in the room.
Yeah.
Nothing better than sports and jorts. You know that, guys? Sports and jorts. It's so freeing,
Yeah.
But the thing was that then he just walks out. The bows were a little hokey. I'll just be honest with
Yeah.
you. The bowing, the toast with the titles was cool. I like that, but the bowing was a little hokey. He goes to the top of the ramp, bows again, salutes, says his little piece, saying it's a pleasure to serve you all these years. Thank you, and then walks off. And I think he wanted that moment of walking off in the sunset. But here was the
Right.
cool fun fact that we learned after the fact, is that the gorilla area was you were not allowed to be in there. And he sat in there, I guess, afterwards, I'm guessing, and maybe he had the emotional moment with his wife or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is total speculation on my part, but so maybe that's where he let the emotion go.
Yeah.
But farewell to John Cena. We salute you. Now we really can't see you on TV for much at all. So,
well, probably see him in the movies and stuff.
I probably won't. I don't like his movies. But anyway,
Movies?
no, I don't really watch his movies. But I will say this. Overall, I thought it was a little bit of a lackluster event. I wanted to be hyped. There were certain people missing that I wanted to be there. The matches were cool with the young upstarts versus, the veterans, and the superstars. But I just wish it would have been, and it's funny because all his career, Cena's been called the golden shovel, right? He buries the pushes of all these people coming up. And now it's like, well, he's known for giving people opportunities, and that's what he wants this whole thing to be about. So which narrative you choose to tune into is on you. But it was a very classy way to go out. I liked the farewell tour. Wish the heel run would have been better. Heel turn was fantastic. All in all, a pretty good year for Cena, with the highlight being the AJ Styles match for sure. Dom and Cena was a highlight, I thought. So Gunther, I could take or leave Gunther. I think that they're going to have to make him have some more depth here. He's just an old school throwback. They kept saying that many times, 70s, 80s, he's a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And so his mic works okay, but all in all, for me, I'd say a B minus, C plus show, probably B minus.
Yeah, I'd go B plus. I enjoyed it.
Well, you hate John Cena, so how could you grade it higher than me?
Because I really, really enjoyed Sol Ruka.
You know who I wish would have showed up is Santino.
Oh yeah,
saying John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena.
Where was John
Got
Cena?
a big mouth, John Cena.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Come on.
Shout out to Santino Morella.
They missed us.
Yeah,
there was the
comedy. Our truth is the comedy.
Yeah.
Miz is the comedy, but we need Santino back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and given how much comedy, I mean, there's something to that, right? I think there could have been a little more of a comedic, even during this entire farewell tour. Once he went back from the heel Cena, there probably could have been a little more comedy stuff in there, but
Yeah.
I'll go B plus mainly because of the whole dynamic
Sol
of the
Ruka,
young
you already
kids getting
said
the
it.
shot. Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that's
you already
that's,
gave
that's
it.
the big part.
Humana Soul Ruka.
That's hilarious. You know what's funny about that is because Sol Ruka is like the anti-Kyle, your wife. Kyle is dark-headed and Latino. Was she
Yeah,
Puerto Rican?
Puerto
And
Rican.
It
Yeah,
would be
Sol Ruka is
Latina. It would be
blonde and white.
Latina. You said Latino.
That's what you say back in the day, man.
Latina.
No, man, you're wrong about that.
It's an A.
Maestro,
It's feminine.
tell him, Nick, you're Native American.
no,
Tell him.
he's right.
Well, who is?
Who?
Luke's right. It's an A.
Thank you.
Oh, whatever. But anyway, Sol Ruka is blonde-headed
Yeah,
surfer girl from California.
total
and
Maybe
opposite.
I'm not dumb.
apparently ups this a half grade for you just by being on the show. All right, let's get into Raw. So you can stop your drooling over Sol Ruka. All right, we get a recap of Saturday night's main event, of course. Then Gunther comes out, kind of cuts a promo on how he made Cena give up and calls him the itch with a B.
Kind of just
He taunts
yelled.
the crowd. I thought that was great. Really kind of just, I'm the big bad guy that made your hero go
Yeah.
away.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hulk smash. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they kind of have him walk through the backstage. He gets on the announcer's table and taunts at the crowd a little bit. Then they have him walk through the backstage, and this was a nice touch where several superstars give him the evil eye. You got Otis and it's just standing there. That Otis is hilarious. But R-Truth calls him trash. Adam Pearce shows up and calls him out and says, "Hey, you're really an a-hole going out there trashing the man's legacy, knowing he's not coming back. That doesn't make you cool. That makes you an a-hole." And tell him, "Get out of here. You got the night off." And then AJ's leaning on Gunther's car, which I thought was a nice touch. AJ says not a word. They stare down, and then Gunther says something to him, gets in the car, then pulls up and rolls down the window and goes, "Hey, AJ," and then gives him one of the "you can't see me" and drives off. So then we watching the walk-ins. They're promoting the card. Tonight it's Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. It's Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez. It's Ivy Nile versus Maxine Dupree. It's CM Punk is here. And then Usos versus New Day start off the show, right? It's a classic Uso New Day match. Grayson Waller tries to get involved. Ref sends him to the back. Lots of super kicks. Double splash to Woods by the Usos. He kicks out. Jay hits spear. Usos hit 1D on Kofi for the win. Jay pins Kofi, and they get the win. It's a classic match here. Something we've seen a lot. The double splash, I always cringe when I see that because it looks like the guy landing on the legs.
Yeah.
It usually doesn't go well. So, nice way to kick off the show. Then they go into hyping Raw's Netflix anniversary, which is January the 5th. We only have a few matches at this point. We got Punk versus Braun Breaker. We got Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea and Io for the tag titles, right? So we go right into a pre-recorded Kabuki Warriors promo, which I like. Asuka and Sane in this kind of promo. Just talking about how Io chose Rhea over her family. It has a lot of flashbacks. And then we see Rhea and Io heading to the ring. And then we go to a recap of Vision attacking Rey and LA Knight. There's a promo in the locker room from Vision about LA Knight and how he's been taken out and he's out of the picture for a while, which is interesting because they did the tsunami on the roof of the car. And I guess, LA Knight's taking an extended break here. He's off the show for a while. They talk about the Masked Man, and Paul Heyman says, "Hey, I don't know who he is, but I'll take the help because we got a lot of enemies," right? Breaker pulls Heyman aside and says, "Hey, I'm taking out CM Punk tonight." Heyman says, "That's a mistake. Why don't you just wait until January 5th where you become champion?" Paul tells Breaker to Logan Paul comes in and tells Breaker to lock in on Mysterio tonight. He's got some business to take care of. And then they give a medical update on LA Knight and say he's got a cracked sternum. and will be out indefinitely. What do you think about them writing LA Knight off the show for a while?
Well, I had said a while back that he has kind of become the the top talent jobber. So if anyone deserved a break, it was him from getting beat all the time. Uh, I'm fine with it. I think again we've said this a couple of times now in this show, but what they do with something is great or terrible, like whatever that is. What you do after matters so much more. Cena heel turn was wonderful. That's gonna become the footnote of that terrible run, right? I mean,
Yeah,
and that is just the
right.
unfortunate reality of what this is. So I think LA Knight getting this break from TV is great from him, quite frankly, if they do something with them coming back, which, history will tell you probably isn't gonna happen. But um, I hope that they do because I do like LA Knight.
Well, I think LA Knight got lost in the Jey Uso push.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that was LA Knight's push, and Jey Uso got hot with that entrance, and maybe that's what took his push away. But LA Knight right now is the guy who can't win the big one, right? Um, Lots of charisma, and in his in-ring work is not bad at all. So
No, it's not.
the crowd loves him. He was over, so it's really strange. Somebody must really not like him in the office and or in the creative team because
Yeah.
they did not really get him where I thought that they would take him. And now who knows what's going to happen with him. But I thought that was interesting that they said cracked sternum and it would be out indefinitely. Who knows how long it would actually be? Maybe he'll be back for the Royal Rumble. Who knows? Um,
Yeah, that's yeah.
uh, you know, so but I hope they bring him back and I hope he gets a push. He's a guy that's a late bloomer, and yeah, he maybe merged some shtick from Stone Cold and The Rock and some others, but it was over with the fans. They loved it, and
Yeah.
and he's entertaining, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then we go back to Io and Rhea coming to the ring, and then Rhea kind of looks out in the crowd and says, "Is that Asuka?" and walks up to the fans, and Asuka standing right there in the front row and spits the mist, the poison mist. Now this takes me back to Kabuki in the world class days, the original mist spitter, poison mist, managed by Playboy Gary Hart.
Yeah.
And not coincidentally, they're called the Kabuki Warriors. I think that's a really cool thing. And obviously, I don't think Kabuki was the first one to spit the poison mist, but he made it real popular around Texas.
Yeah.
And so the mist actually, I don't think it even got in Rhea's eyes or face because I think our hair blocked it.
Yeah.
But that's for another thing. We got to suspend, disbelief here. And then, so they spit in Rhea's face. They beat down Io. Then they attack Rhea. Sane goes for the insane elbow on Rhea while she's being held, and Io throws herself on top of Rhea and takes the insane elbow in the back. Sacrifices herself for Rhea. Pretty good moment there, I thought. But I made a note of here. We're 1 hour into the show, and we've had one match:
Yeah.
Usos versus New Day. So kind of wild, but not a bad, segment here with the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea and Io. But again, things we've seen already. What did you like this segment?
I actually don't. I think my thing is I prefer Rhea. One, I liked her better with Dom. I think that was the peak. Um, but absent Dom, I think she's way better off on her own.
Yeah,
She is
Yep.
a super duper star. She is to me getting weighed down by all of this, too much around her. Like she doesn't need this. It almost waters her down a little bit. Um, I'm an attitude era person, so I'm thinking about when China was going through her run, when Sable was going through her run, like just get out of the way and let them go, right? And I'm not comparing certainly Rhea to Sable, but even more
yeah,
so to China. But just the idea of like you go look at some of the ratings and the quarter hours that China and Sable were getting during those periods, and I mean sometimes other than Stone Cold, they were the hottest thing going. Rhea can be that. Rhea can be the must see TV it's just getting so watered down through all of this. So I actually don't like this at all. I think they're totally misusing Rhea, and it sucks because she's probably Dom's my number one in the company, and Rhea's probably my number two in the company. And I feel like they're just missing totally with her.
Well, and like you said, she's the eradicator. Where's the brutality? This kind of softens her up a little bit.
100%.
And I know she's slimmed down her look too, so she's not as, jacked. And but I like the feud with the Kabuki Warriors. It's just dragging a little bit, and they got to end this, and like you said, put her back in the women's world title picture, so that we can get her back to being the dominating eradicator, Rhea Ripley. The next match we get is Ivy Nile versus Maxine Dupree for the Intercontinental Women's title. And Dupree has a new look. Bet you can't guess what color it was.
Black.
It was black, and she had her Sol Ruka hair, actually.
Yeah.
She had the curly hair. She's got this tough new look because she's been working out with Natalya. And so she had this real aggressive new image and aggressive approach, mindset. I really like this for Maxine Dupree. She's the all shucks, can't wrestle girl to now she's got a little bit of an edge. They're trying to give her one.
Yep.
So working with Natty is the way to go. What did you think of Dupree's new look and new aggressive mindset?
Yeah, I really don't like agreeing with you. Just to be totally honest, something bugs me about it. But I agree. I think the other thing is, and I sound like a broken record here, giving her the title was a shock, right? I genuinely was surprised by that decision. I understand why completely with AJ Lee coming back and just what that did for, AJ and Becky, but I was surprised that they gave it to Dupree. What they've done with her after the fact, at least so far, has been really, really strong. I agree with the black thing. I don't know that I was that dialed into it, but now I can't unsee it. And I really wish they would have gone a different direction with her, especially going with Natty. Throw a bunch of pink in it, let it be pink, and there could be a little homage thing there. Like that could have made a lot of
Shout
sense.
out to Stu Hart in the dungeon.
Yeah, and the dungeon for sure. And maybe even throw in a little, the first female, because I don't think we've really done that other than Natty. The first the first female disciple of the Hart family dungeon, something along those lines. But having said all of that, those are minor critiques. I do like what they're doing with Dupree, and I hope that they continue to go this direction with her, because she's very talented, and I think she pops off the screen, a lot of charisma.
Well, and she got, roughed up when she first started. The fans were, just merciless against her, And
diva in a women's evolution.
Yeah, and so I like the fact that she's paired with Natty here. I think she, the way they had this match go with her, Ivy now is a wrestler type person. And so the ankle lock, being on, now breaking it, she gets right back on it, just bulldogging the ankle, right?
Yeah.
I do like that. And eventually Nile taps out and Maxine Dupree retains the title. But I do like where they're going with Dupree. Again, let's see if they continue to progress. But again, everyone was in black. Ivy Nile was in black. The New Day was in black. The Usos were in black, I believe. It was dark if it wasn't black. So again, it's a blackout on the costuming. So we get a Saturday night's main event recap. Then we go backstage with Javon Evans and Adam Pearce talking about Saturday night's main event and how impressed he was with Evans. They're interrupted by El Grande Americano and Rayo Americano and all those guys. El Grande speaking Spanish with Pearce. Do we still believe that's Ludwig, or is it somebody else now?
I think it's still Ludwig, but man, I can't even tell anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not Chad Gable. I think we know that.
It's definitely not Gable. That I can. That one we can. It's not Hornswoggle. It's not Hornswoggle. I think it is Ludwig. And I actually like the gimmick. I like what they've done with
Can
this.
Ludwig speak Spanish?
I mean, he's Italian, right?
I don't think so. I don't
don't
know
know
what
what
he
I
is.
don't know. Maestro,
Ludwig
check that
Kaiser.
out.
I'll look it up.
It's supposed to be Austrian or German.
I
or
was gonna
something.
say, yeah, German. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd
That was the gimmick. I don't know what he is. So
Right. I think I'm thinking about the other guy that he was with, Giovanni Vinci. Right? Was that the
He's
other guy?
German.
yeah, that guy was Italian.
That's who I'm
He's
thinking
German.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ludwig is
Yeah.
German.
Yeah. So I don't know if he can speak Spanish. He
and
speaks it pretty well.
Gunther is Austria. So yeah. So nice little segment here. Evans and El Grande go back and forth a little bit, and now we got a match next week. Not with El Grande Americano, but with Rayo Americano and Evans,
Yeah.
which again is that whole thing where you got to go through him to get to me type thing. So, decent. All right, we got CM Punk coming out. Now, this was the highlight of the night for me.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
CM Punk with his best promo in a while. He just shredded Braun. And, I think it's probably because Braun mentioned his wife.
Yeah.
A couple lines I want to point out in Punk's promo. He says, "You're a cross-eyed Neanderthal nepo baby."
Yep.
And brains don't run in your family, which was awesome. He goes off on Vision, CM Punk does, and the Masked Man. He talks about Heyman always having some upstart blue chipper that gets pushed too hard, too fast, and fizzles out. And says, "Don't speak my wife's name again. Or this is going to go from business to personal." That was a great line. And he said, "If you do, I'm going to piss on your single-digit IQ brain." That was a good line, right? So he says, "Hey, you're not. I know you, because of who you are, you're not going to show up alone and face me like a man. Not because you don't have the balls, but because you don't have the heart." I thought that was a good line, right?
Or the brain.
Yeah. And he calls him Brawny. I thought that was funny. He says, "So go ahead, Brawny, bring Heyman, bring the Vision, bring the National Guard." And then he says this, Luke, I don't know if you heard this part: "Call your dumb father and bring his dumber brother Scott." You're going to need all that to help you win. Oh, man. What a great promo from CM Punk.
So are they going to bring Big Papa Pump back?
Well, that's his uncle. Who knows?
Yeah.
He made reference to Steiner Math in there. He said the cool line was Steiner Math. Even Steiner Math knows that GTS equals 1, 2, 3. That was great.
Yeah. The immediate thing I thought of is because I thought it when it was spear 1, 2, 3, spear 1, 2, 3. GTS equals 1, 2, 3. We got a merch fight on our hands for that Netflix show. I mean, look, I think we talked about Breaker's promos, the kind of two that he had, being great for the day, right? And the standard that he's having to hit is such. CM Punk resets the standard for himself, so I agree. He hasn't had some of these with all this bite in it for a while. He always speaks so much better than the rest of the roster for the most part, that none of them are bad. But this one definitely felt like a little bit of a throwback. Had some venom in there. Had some real good bite and
emotion.
Feeling.
The personalized it. We were like, do these guys really hate each other? There's some of that. Is this real hatred for each other? It was great. I loved it. Like I said, highlight of the night for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, just like we said before, the storyline of this now, the soap opera of this says, let's get to January 5th. Like now that match, and this is what CM Punk has always been a master of, is it draws you in. It makes me want, the match matters now, right? Even if wrestling is the part that I want to look away from and I'm going to look at my phone and I'm going to look down, it's these kind of things that make it to where during those matches, I'm not, because I'm totally invested in it because of this. And maybe nobody better, maybe Cody and Drew are the only other two, but there are very few that draw you in the way CM Punk does.
No, I agree. And we talked about AJ Styles being old. CM Punk's getting up there, man. And you're looking at the next generation of who's going to carry the torch, because I remember, in the Attitude Era, the stars were younger. They're not these 50-year-olds, late 40-year-olds that are carrying the torch for the company. And so WWE is quickly trying to make new stars, and they're doing a good job. It's just, I think the missing element from a lot of these stars is their mic work, their promo ability. And, we talked a little bit about Breaker. You liked the Braun Breaker promos a little more than I did. I thought it was a little, I think Logan Paul should be getting this push, not Braun Breaker. I like Logan Paul better. But to me, CM Punk just showed him how it's done. He said, "Son, let me show you how it's done." So the highlight of the night for me, and then we go backstage with Dirty Dom, Liv, and Roxanne and Raquel, and this is where Raquel sets the stage and says, "Hey guys, I want to do this on my own tonight." We know what that sets the stage for.
Right.
It's
Right.
Hey, I need to go do this on my own. I want to fight for the title and win it myself. They're all supportive. Liv shoots her a little look as she walks away, so you know something's brewing with Liv and Raquel. And then we get Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez for the women's world title. And this match got another DQ interference from Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella shows up. She takes out Rodriguez, then hits Vaquer with a Rack Attack 2.0 and tells her, "Hey, you're not done with me. You're going to give me my respect. I created this. I made all this possible for you guys. You guys should, polish my boots," she says later in the backstage.
Was she wearing black
segment? She was in black and red highlights. Yes,
Has some dash of red. Yeah,
red highlights.
I don't remember what Vaquera was wearing though. Maybe it wasn't black, but again, this was. I don't know. We want to see Nikki Bella Vaquera too, but it was impressive the first time. I mean, like it beat expectations. But again, Nikki Bella's here, and doing what people accuse John Cena of, is burying pushes here. So I don't know how you feel about it. Maybe it's great that Nikki gets one more run. I think she's proven herself more of a wrestler this time than a diva, and maybe that's the point.
I mean, yes, I think that's what they're going for. I'm just looking here. Vaquera was in dark blue. She was not in black. Just for the record.
Close enough.
I understand what they're trying to do, right? I understand, and I would imagine, especially with Nikki having, the kid that's old enough to understand what's going on now. We want to run, certainly not with the title, but we just want a program where I'm actually doing some real pro wrestling stuff and not the sports entertainment stuff. I get that. It's a little bit akin to Goldberg. Goldberg wanted to get one of those runs for the benefit of his son and kind of his family and that sort of thing. Having said all of that, I absolutely hate it. I think it makes no sense. I don't think Nikki Bella she can't even lace the boots up of half the roster when it comes to in-ring stuff. She's trying very hard. It looks like she's worked. Certainly she's way better than she was. I will definitely give her that. And all the respect in the world for someone at that stage in their career to try to go back and get back in the lab and try to get better. All the respect in the world. At the end of the day, though, Vaquer and Ruka and Rhea and Io, I mean, I can just go on and on and on and on.
So many talented women on the roster.
Right.
It's hard to incorporate a legend like this and
100%
and make it make sense. Yeah.
You can do it on the one-offs. You do the one-off, you let her get beat and let her go away. Perfectly fine. We've seen it with Trish, we've seen it with Lita, we've seen it Mickie James over and over and over. That's fine. Let the young girl take what she can get from you and then let her take it somewhere else. The fact that we're reintroducing this again, it just feels transitional. It feels like I don't know what to do with this space because the calendar's weird. And so let's just do this.
Well, I think maybe they saw what kind of performance they gave in that first match, and maybe they liked it. So they said, "Hey, let's have round 2." Maybe they weren't going to if the match didn't go well. So let's just see where this goes. I'm like you though. I think there's many other people on the roster that deserve it more, but maybe this is Nikki Bella's last little run.
Yeah.
Similar to we had Trish Stratus come back for a little bit of a run. So who knows? Then we go backstage where Pierce and Heyman are talking about the Masked Man. Pierce wants to know who is under that mask, and he knows Heyman knows. Heyman says, "I don't know who it is, but I'm okay with him because he's helping me." Right?
Yeah.
Pierce says, "I want to know by the end of the night who it is." Heyman walks away, and then here comes Rhea Ripley walking up with a towel over her face because there's no mist in her eyes, and they had to cover her face after the mist so we wouldn't see that there's no mist on her face. But she says she wants Asuka. Pierce says, okay, you got her next week. And then we see Rey Mysterio walking around. He bumps into Punk, and Punk says, hey, Rey, I got your back tonight. And then we're still backstage where Jackie Redmond's talking to Styles and Lee, Dragon Lee. They're talking about the tag division, and they're ready for any team at any time. And they're going to go talk to Pierce right now about who they're going to face. Then Nikki Bella walks up, and that's where she talks about, hey, these guys aren't worth shine. They can't shine my boots. Or they should be shining her boots, is what she said. Yeah. And that leads us to Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul, the main event, and the fourth match of the night, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth match. And Heyman's only one at ringside with Logan Paul. Mysterio, though, was looking very festive in his red and green Christmas outfit.
Yeah.
It was not black.
Was
Logan
not black.
Paul was in black. But Rey Mysterio had the Christmas colors working. And I was, for a minute there, I thought it was lighting up red and green, like the Christmas tree. But it was a nice little look for Rey. Of course, somewhere down in the match, Vision comes out, but CM Punk's right behind him with a chair and hits Braun and Bronson, takes them out with the chair. Heyman gives Logan Paul the brass knucks. Rey hits 619 and Logan Paul drops the brass knucks. Rey's bending over to pick him up, and out of nowhere, the Masked Man comes and stomps him into the ring apron. Logan Paul hits the Superstar Splash for the win. The Masked Man stares down with Logan Paul, and Logan Paul's got the knucks back on his hand, and he's stare down pose with this guy. So we don't know if he's friend or foe to the Vision at this point, right? And then here comes CM Punk. I don't know where CM Punk was during all this happening, but
he was eating a sandwich.
He took out Braun and Bronson, and then I don't know what happened to him. I guess he was eating a sandwich or something. But he hits the ring with the chair. The Masked Man goes up the stairs in the crowd, and for some reason decides to unmask himself while he's in the crowd.
Yeah.
And honestly, the announcers, it's Austin Theory, and they had to tell us that because he has a shaved head and looked exactly like Justin Timberlake. Exactly like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
He pulled his mask off and, it's Austin Theory, and he's got this menacing look on his face with his
Justin Timberlake
shaved head. He looks just like Mr. Bringing sexy back, right?
Yeah, JT.
This has got to be the worst unmasking in the history of wrestling. Except for when the Von Erichs came to the ring one time wearing masks, and Kerry was, I think it was Kerry or Kevin, was getting in the ring and the mask fell off, and it was, okay, we know who you are anyway. So, but this was horrible. It's a worst kept secret. I think they are going to do something with multiple masked men, and maybe they're going to rival the Vision, but maybe they're not friendly with Vision. I don't know, but they got to do something, because this just being Austin Theory can't be how this ends, and it was one of the worst unmaskings in professional wrestling history.
But what about, so they told Heyman they want to know who it is tonight, and then he somehow unmasks tonight.
Yeah, there could be something linking that.
Yeah, I don't know how all that stuff really works, but it just seems like the only person that would have told him is Paul Heyman. So
yeah, but that's what they want us to think. Maybe there's a link there. Maybe he's part of Vision. Maybe it's, I don't know. We'll see. But the weirdest thing about it is the Breaker comes out behind Punk, who's got a chair in the ring, and he hits him with a spear. And then Theory's just staring at the ring, standing there in the crowd this whole time. Braun grabs the title and tells Punk, "Don't talk about my family or you'll never walk again." And Theory's just lurking in the back, which I thought was flat out ridiculous. Yep. And they kind of took all the attention away from him being unmasked and put it on Breaker. And that was the end of the show. Said, "Don't talk about my family or you'll never walk again." A little cheesy, little tough guy routine. Yep. But Worst unmasking in professional wrestling. What do you say, Nick?
Yeah, I think the first night Survivor Series or whatever it was.
We lost Luke.
Well, I'm still
yeah, we
here, but
lost-
my phone's dead, so I don't.
We lost the
have
camera. That's okay.
Lost the
You weren't really
camera.
saying much, dude. What's the matter with you?
Well,
I think
I haven't watched wrestling since Shawn Michaels retired, so.
Okay. Well, way to contribute to the show, baby.
Yeah. I think the issue that I have with this is the same one that I have, and what I said the night that this happened at War Games was, you gotta, in order for this to be hyper productive, you've got to now drag this out forever, right? This only works if you drag it out. I said then the worst thing you can do is go like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month at the most, and then have them just stand in the middle of the ring and do the same old unmasking. Now they put him in the crowd. At least that's kind of different, I guess, but not really. I mean, it's so badly done. And this is exactly what I was afraid of. This does nothing for Austin Theory. The only salvage point from here forward now is if it rivals the Vision, if the whole curb stomping thing is because Seth Rollins is going to be part of the mystery masked men being unveiled, and if you get Rollins, Orton, and Theory, if you let Theory rub shoulders with Rollins and Orton for 6 months in a match with Vision leading into Mania or whatever, however they do that, maybe that could work. But as for right now, this was all the way bad, nothing good about it. And I think the point that you made is so good in that they've already started to overshadow this reveal within the first 3 minutes of doing it. What I remember is Braun Breaker and CM Punk, not the reveal.
Yeah, and I think that what you said is the only way they can redeem this. And we have to figure out why Orton would tag with or team up with Rollins. Maybe it's to take out, Vision. I don't know, but Vision turned on Rollins, so Rollins getting some people to come back and be the new Vision. I could see that, but it seems like it would, Randy Orton doesn't really fit in that mold because he's older and he had and I wouldn't get that tie-in. But Theory, yes, has to be somebody else. I don't know who it might be, but I would be okay if it's Orton. But again, it's more of like an evolution vibe. It's past, current, and future. But they've got to do something because Theory just sitting there looking like Justin Timberlake with a mad face on it, like he just got dissed by Britney Spears. But but to me, it was just bad, terrible way to end the show.
Yep.
Triple H is in trouble. I think here they've got to do something to win this crowd back over.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm always going to give, or at least attempt to give, Trips the benefit of the doubt. And again, for me at this point, it's hard for me not to, like, it's so different, like it's so dramatically different. It's hard for me not to think that there's something else going on there. Maybe the creative team is expanded. Maybe he's lost final say in what they're doing. Maybe he's just taking a step back. Like, I know he's missed a couple of shows where like the headline out of it was, Triple H not backstage at Raw or not backstage at this show. Yeah. Like, so maybe it's just, hey, he's got to get some time off. He can't do this year round. Maybe this is
they become a corporate giant, man.
Right.
With TKO owning them, there are other things that are taking priority, and that's about dollars and revenue and that kind of stuff. But what he needs to realize is if you don't start telling better stories, it's going to impact your dollars. I don't know if Netflix is happy with the partnership. Yeah, because people are already on ESPN talking about maybe ESPN's not happy with the partnership with WWE. It's not done what they thought it would do. So there definitely has to be better storylines. And when you got Lesnar a part-timer, you got Reigns a part-timer, they've got to do something to jolt this thing back on track. I don't think Austin Theory is the big. I mean, it's like a letdown. It's like we all knew it was Austin Theory, first of all, and two, his look. We'll see. Now, again, there are some interesting things being done. It's just how long and how well can they progress these storylines is always the question. Like you said earlier with Maxine Dupree, like with Lash Legend, with what are we going to do with Rhea? How are we going to there was a stare
Right.
down with Cargill and Rhea also, which led us to believe there's a feud coming for them, which would be great.
Love to see
right?
that. Yeah, love to see
Yeah,
that for sure.
That would be awesome. So there's a lot of potential here, but man, we went through 3 shows tonight, and I'm
Yeah.
exhausted, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, because it's late. We're doing this on a Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I guess it's Wednesday now.
It's
Yeah,
Wednesday. Yeah,
Wednesday
it's
morning.
Wednesday.
But Wednesday after just past 12 a.m. But thank you for hanging with us tonight. We are passionate WWE fans. We have our favorites. We love to watch the product, but we're in it for the storytelling. We're in it for the surprises. We're in it for the long-term storytelling, and we need to get back to that. And tell us what you think. Where these stories are going in the comments. Please like and subscribe and share. But man, I'm exhausted. I'm just out of it. I know that we lost Luke on the camera, but he's still here,
Yeah,
right
I'm
over
still
here to
here.
my right.
Yep.
And we got to get him to contribute more to the show, Nick. I mean, he's just sitting there looking like Dirty Dom. I mean, what kind of
That's my contribution.
yeah.
Makes me
That's
happy.
literally all I need to do.
Well, with that being said, I really appreciate you guys, being a part of this one. We're going to miss John Cena. Well, I am. Nick's not going to miss John Cena, but I'm going to miss John Cena. It was a little bit of, I didn't shed a sports tear because it wasn't really that emotional.
It wasn't.
But
No.
I'm sad to see him go, but glad he got a respectful send off. And we'll see what he does as an ambassador for WWE over the next 5 years. But we got to heat these storylines up because, man, we are about to be on the road to WrestleMania, the best time of the year to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being a part of this one. Nick, you have anything to say on the way out?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the road to WrestleMania, starting with the Rumble. Royal Rumble is my absolute favorite event of the year. There's nothing that's even close for me. I love the surprises. I love everything about it. So this is, for me, this is a throwback to my childhood. The first wrestling event I ever went to was the Royal Rumble in San Antonio. We talked about this on the very, very first podcast. Steve Austin cheating Bret Hart after he got thrown out. So favorite event of the year. Really, really looking forward to it. And if everything else is going terrible, at least you get one night of some good surprises and a great event.
Yeah, I hope Triple H doesn't screw that up. So, and I sound like I'm down on Triple H. I just need him to be better. I think Shawn Michaels is doing some good things in NXT. We need Triple H to be better. But again, thank you for being a part of this one. Until next week, we're going to do another wrestling show. It'll be weekly. We have our regular podcasts about NFL and sports and the Cowboys. But thanks for being a part of this one. Until next time, peace.